Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to the one night only Joker's Wild pay-per-view for TNA. Now, I have been considering doing at least one or two of these supplementary pay-per-views, if I understand correctly. If anyone tells me I'm wrong, please say below. But once every other month, TNA will be releasing an already pre-recorded pay-per-view that's already been done. It's a theme pay-per-view. So they have a series. The last one was about the X Division. This one is about tag teams. I wasn't sure what was going to be here. To be honest, I wasn't sure if I was even going to like this. I did manage to catch Extravaganza, the last one. Wasn't too fond of it. I mean, it had some great X Division work in it. Don't get me wrong, the matches were good, but there was something just missing for me, personally. Maybe it's because the X Division isn't promoted as much as it was before. Yes, now the X Division is being done in a triple threat type of format. But I felt that the X Division deserves to have feuds. And this didn't show any feuds to me, the Extravaganza. In this case, the same thing here for Joker's Wild. There was practically no real feuds really promoted in this except for Aces and Eights. Yeah, they had a few exceptions to still go with the storylines that's going on, but it didn't really, from my feelings, is that nothing was progressed for anybody's storyline. Nothing. So let's get into the matches. The first one was, that was a surprise. Crimson and Gunner versus Storm and who else was it? And York, one of the gut check winners. I was surprised the way the show went, that a lot of times one or the other was dominant. Either a whole bunch of heels were against a face or a whole bunch of faces were against a heel. In this case, you had really face and heel pretty much balanced. I was really surprised to see Christian York there. I did not expect a gut check winner to be in there. And you know later that we got another one. The match itself, it wasn't a bad match. I do feel that Gunner and how can I describe this? I mean, it felt kind of weird to see Gunner and Crimson again after so many months being gone. It wasn't like it felt fresh. Now, if they had been seen on TNA more than just this once, and after the match was over, Crimson said it best. I was home on my ass for 6 months to 5 months doing shit. Now, even if it wasn't true and they were over in OVW, it makes no difference. It felt like there was no hyping for this, no interest. It was basically what it is, thrown together matches. And it felt empty. Even though it was a good match, Storm and York won. No problem with it. I did feel like the match, even though it wasn't bad, felt flat for me because Gunner and Crimson has been seen in so long. It wasn't the fact that I was excited for them. I wasn't. They were shit when they left. When it came to Crimson and Matt Morgan, those matches they had at the end were shit. So I had no interest at all. And then when Gunner was paired up with Ric Flair, the wheeling and dealing and whining and dining son of a gun, at the end, he went flat and it was a piece of shit. So I had no interest when these two were brought together. The promo segment afterwards, what they said was accurate. They didn't deserve to be on that ass for 5 to 6 months. But since they didn't do anything with them when they were there, wasn't much of a difference. So the next match we got was Christopher Daniels and Samoa Joe versus Chavo and RVD. RVD got the most cheers there. It was not Chavo. It was the second person in line was Joe that got the most decent amount of cheers. I felt Joe was the best person there, even though the crowd was cheering for RVD. RVD is not still a bad talent. He's a very old talent now. He's in his late 40s. A little older than myself, ladies and gentlemen. But I felt that Joe was the best person to be promoted. And it was funny seeing how Christopher Daniels was trying to play off trying to use a Samoa Joe. It wasn't bad. It wasn't great, but it wasn't bad. Joe and Christopher Daniels wins. And in the end, when the promo segment for Christopher Daniels and Joe came around, Christopher Daniels gave it some energy. But I felt Joe made it more relevant. Because he pretty much said, this is for $100,000. Fuck you. See you in the ring. Smacks him on the face and moves on. And next, what do we get? We got Zema Ion and Robbie E. Versus, who was it? Oh, Rude and Joseph Parks. Now that was interesting. Joseph Park, I really have this strange feeling with the Joseph Park character. I'm going to say it right now. I don't believe that TNA is going to switch the Joseph Park character back to the Abyss. I don't believe they're going to do it. I think that, I forgot the guy's name, his actual name. But I really believe he told TNA, you know what, I ran with Abyss for a very long time. I really want a long break from him or not to go back at all. Give me this and I'm willing to stick. Now part of me does still feel that they will bring the Abyss back, but not within 2013 or 14. If it is 14, it's late 14. Maybe Bound for Glory 2014. They'll actually let Joseph Park switch back. Because I don't think that he's going to be switching back too soon. Really. What the match went down, it was funny. Very interesting to see a Joseph Park run around the ring and act the way he did when he got his mouth busted open, and you see Zema Ion and Robbie E having some level of chemistry as a tag team. They got laid out, and in the end, the person who got it was Robert Roode. What can I say about this? It was something. Was it great comedy? No. But it was at least something different. I'm not exactly sure if the match was that great, though. You got 2 X Division guys. Well, I think 3. I don't know. Robert Roode, was he ever in the X Division? I believe he was at one point, but he never won a championship. That's when he went to the tag teams. So if anyone knows if Robert Roode had won at least one X Division championship, please tell me below. Like I said, I never was really big into TNA in the the early to the middle 2000s. Not until late that I started watching it. So what did we get next? Oh, this was a strange thing here. We got Supermet Hernandez with Silva, the other gut check winner, with Aces and 8, Doc and Devon. I really didn't even care about this match, to the point where I didn't even watch all of it. Too much Aces and 8. I didn't expect them to lose, and they didn't lose. They won. The person I just wanted to see a little bit of was Silva. I wanted to see how he would react and interact with Supermet. I saw a little bit of it. Silva looks like he will be a good tag team partner for somebody. He had some decent chemistry in the ring with people. But still, I was not interested in this match. No. So I'm going to move on to the match that was decently interesting, that I found funny. I actually found it funny more than the Roode and Parks match with Robbie E and Ion. That is Al Snow and Joey Ryan and Rob Terry with Matt Morgan. You look at Matt Morgan, you look at Rob Terry. Either one or two things you see. You see a possible dominant tag team, or you see a possible feud between the two. I couldn't really tell you which one would be better, because we had Crimson and Matt Morgan, and that was shit. Now, Rob Terry may be an entirely different animal compared to a Crimson to work with a Matt Morgan, so I wouldn't know. So the match itself was actually kind of funny, because you have 3 heels. They showed a Rob Terry as a heel, pretty much. Even though he's been doing face stuff, he is now doing heel in this situation, as you will. Seeing that they wanted Al Snow to stay in the ring and get his ass kicked 7 days to Sunday was not that interesting. Until it was time for a Joey Ryan to get into the ring. And then you see a Matt Morgan saving his sorry ass from a Rob Terry, which started having a little conflict, as you will. The most interesting thing you got was a possible finger of doom, or finger poke of doom, back in the late 90s into the 2000s with a Hulk Hogan, I believe, with a Diesel. Big Daddy Cool. The way it came down, you thought they were going to actually do that stupid finger poke of doom. Now, I wasn't sure if I wanted to see something like that. That would have been stupid. But then when you see a Joey Ryan start attacking Matt Morgan and then carbon footprint his damn ass all across the ring, like the Morgan and the organ had been no more. The organ had been crushed. Like a woman went and bite that shit off. I don't mean to be so graphic, ladies and gentlemen, but if you're going to say it the way it is, Matt Morgan laid his ass out. Of course, they had already arranged it that if either one of them won, they would split the money. I don't think either one of them won at all. Wanted to split the money, either one at that time. Now, how am I going to pronounce this? The Battle Royal Gauntlet match, which is basically a Royal Rumble type of match. After maybe 2 minutes, 2 people start, 1 person comes in. It's Storm and it's Rude that started. I didn't know how to feel about this, seeing Storm and Rude. Could have been one of them that was going to start. My feelings about this entire pay-per-view was that this was going to be for Matt Morgan. After what we saw in Impact this week, seeing that Matt Morgan did not tap out or quit, I thought, would be the best person to win this Battle Royal. But it was Storm. It wasn't bad to see how a Christian York did. He did very well. Rob Terry was dominant. Matt Morgan was very dominant. He got rid of most of the people in the ring. I really expected Matt Morgan to be the one to do this because they really need to build Matt Morgan. Why not use one of your series of one night only pay-per-view to promote a Matt Morgan? I'm not saying it's not important to have a James Storm being presented. I do like James Storm. But I thought for storyline purposes, even though no storyline was covered in this, if anyone saw this, then this would really go in, anyone who sees TNA just curious if anything could be interesting in it, I would have thought they'd do the Matt Morgan angle. Having James Storm isn't a bad choice. I do like James Storm. But it's not really going to go much into the storyline of what's going on next week. I mean, James Storm is going to be the one who's going to be reffing Bad Influence versus Dirty Heels match. So where is this really going to help? Since these shows are really not promoting any storylines at all, you could have actually used this one show to promote one part of a storyline. You could have let Matt Morgan win this. And Matt Morgan really could have used this to get more people interested in him so they would push him to going into Bound for Glory. Because I don't think anything's going to happen for him in Slammiversary at all. That's meant for Sting. But for Matt Morgan, I said this myself, the most I really believed he was going to go through if they actually did this was Bound for Glory of this year. So this really could have helped him. It would have been a big boost. And he could have promoted this in the show. He really needed more than a James Storm did. And I know James Storm is not being promoted very much. And even though he is working with a AJ Styles, I felt Morgan was the one who deserved this better. Now, how would I rate this show? I really don't know what exactly to say about this show. There's no storylines in this show. There were some decent matches. And there were some funny points in it. And some not such bad spots. But really, I'm not going to give this one a rating. I can say it's an interesting thing to see. If anyone's wondering, should you see the series of One Night Only? They're going to be doing a hardcore matches on their next pay-per-view, which is July 5th, I believe. It's Hardcore Justice 2. So, they're doing One Night Onlys of their hardcore shows, of their X Division shows. They're probably going to be doing a extravaganza next year, Extravaganza 2. And just making One Night Only like that. It's might be worth looking at them, but to understand that this is only for matches only. This is like for people who are from ROH. This is what I believe it is. ROH marks are the ones who probably like this the most, like with the extravaganza and when it comes to Joker's Wild. There is no storylines in this. It's not story driven. Even though they talked briefly about it, unfortunately with TNA and Taz, he wasn't too bad this time, but still he kept throwing aces and eights in there. I just didn't want to hear it. And then he was stupid enough to say during the show, I was told by email I shouldn't be doing this. What is the fuck? Why the fuck are you there if you're trying to listen to the brass in the back saying, oh, I'm not supposed to be doing this? Then the brass in the back should be taking you into the ring and telling you, shut the fuck up. No matter if you're Teflon Taz, if you got to start saying that on the show of this pay-per-view. But for anyone else, just taking away from Taz being annoying. Understand, you see this, there is no storylines in this. They may throw a little bit of storyline, maybe in Hardcore Justice 2. I think they might when it comes to the Joseph Park character, when it came to the tease. But that's kind of hard to say. They may, but they may not. I don't know. So I would just say, if you're going to watch this, just have an open mind and don't be too frustrated that there's no storylines behind it. ROH people, this is what you've been wanting from a more bigger promotion than ROH. You want no storylines, just matches. So, there you go. So, I hope you enjoyed the Zane's View. Subscribe and comment to my channel, ladies and gentlemen. I'll be getting my SmackDown review. I have something to do tomorrow. So, there's a good possibility I will not be able to get my SmackDown review done until Sunday. I just wanted to let you guys know. So, you have a good night, ladies and gentlemen. And always remember, when it comes to TNA, it's more than just tits and ass. It's an actually good show.